Hello, hello again. I had a lot of time on my hand again. This is Musa, Matt Meacham Jr. signing in on Earth. I I had turned my camera off on my computer, and I had started editing my children's play. Um, and then I just started surfing the internet, and then I saw that there are white men in Australia saying that Australia belongs to the white people. Some, what's going on around here? Something, something very mischievous. Something very mischievous is happening. Okay, it started in Europe, and now white people, well, some white people are coming together. Uh, I guess it's some kind of movement. That's quite interesting. Okay, now they're having some type of movement, some kind of movement that's moving toward the white right. They're moving to the right with some type of racial philosophy. Um, uh, it's, it's, it's quite interesting. Well, it's interesting and understandable if we go deep into our minds and our conscience and our history. It's understandable, but it's problematic. It's problematic. It's not necessarily it's a problematic thing that has something to do with the human race. It's it's problematic because it has something to do with the human race, not the white race or the black race or the yellow race or whatever race. But this thing that's coming up, this uh, evolution of white, I'm not going to say white supremacy, but I'm going to say white awareness. It's it's problematic, but perhaps that's how creation is, because we are seeing a change in how the world is getting ready to be run. The world has changed. I look at the time that I've been on Earth and places that I've been and the observations that I have made. The world is changing drastically, considering how the world was. And maybe it's something like a shock that's happening within humanity. We are, I truly believe, in a certain period, in a renaissance. Okay, we are in a period in time that man has the power to destroy himself. Man has the power, yes, to self-destruct. But see, there's one thing greater than man, and that's the creator. And if he is the creator, then he does or it does whatever it pleases. That makes the matter even more complicated. Because if there's the creator has already designed how he wanted the world to be, it's nothing we can do, being that he created all of us. It's a very philosophical type of issue. But let's deal with that. Let's struggle through this whole reality that we exist in. We exist in this humanity. We exist in this humanity of men. And the Creator, he does what he pleases with that which he creates. But let's get back to this problematic thing that's going on here. This problematic thing that's going on as in regards to humanity is this white, this thing that let's unite because we are white people. Let's unite. Let's be white, and everything else is excluded in the way that we look at things. So we go to Australia, which, well, most of the Aborigines. I don't. I wonder, were white people ever Aborigines? It seems like Aborigines are always black people. It's getting kind of complicated here. White men are in Australia demonstrating. They are saying that Australia, Australia belongs to the white man. Okay, when it's uh, from what my understanding is that if two people who are what we call white, if they mate, it's not necessarily a possibility that they can produce a black child, but it's evident all over the world that two black human beings can produce a white child. So that white child comes from the black human being. Some people call him the original man. But that white skinned human being can actually come from a black skinned human being, which says to me that we're all related and we are all ancestors. We are all relatives of the human race. I know in Tanzania, they get the albino, there's certain areas that they get their albino children, and they use them in religious ceremonies. They I'm trying to understand this thing. I'm trying to put it together. I know the albino, there's a certain area in Tanzania where they actually mutilate albino children, white children that black people have. Okay, maybe that has something to do with this. Maybe because I don't know, but I'm only theorizing. Okay, maybe the reason why you have this strong, but then it's only evident that this type of thought in the minds of white people, in the minds of white men, it seems to be pretty prominent from the area of Western Europe. I don't know too much about Eastern history, but I don't think that the intensity of racism was as great in the far eastern parts of the part east eastern parts of the Western world, like Russia. But this thing has got to stop. This thing about you, this color thing, this color thing that we have, this thing must be dissolved. I think it stands in the way of the growth and development of humanity. So I try to put myself in the position of the other man. I try to go outside of myself and I try to be this other person so that I can understand this other person. What makes this mode of thought come that if you're white or if you're black or if you're brown or if you're yellow or whatever, what makes it so serious that we gotta go and hurt each other because of the way that we come into existence? When we actually interact with all types of human beings, we find that we are all in one family. But why do we have to go into these things saying, oh, because of the color of your skin, or the texture of your hair, or the way your eyes are, it makes you different from me as being a part of the whole humanity. So something is raising up, and I can understand it. I can understand it because a change is coming in the world. When I look at what the change, in the I've almost lived a century. Well, I've lived in my observations and in my experience in this lifetime. I have seen so many changes. I have observed so many changes and have watched how when I look at the human entity, how everything just changes right before our eyes. Growing up in segregation and being exposed to those type of things and those thoughts and going through a life again, seeing what is presently happening in the world. I can only look at the USA. I look at what goes on in the US, the United States of America. I think that from the way it used to was, the way it was before, when we talk about the sociological human aspect of what goes in America, it is like almost like a 360-degree turn as to like where the USA was and where it is today. But then on the sidelines, you got these sick doctrines. You got these sick doctrines that people continue to try to perpetrate. So this is going to be a very interesting world. I think that this is going to be a very interesting world. The reason why, because the world is changing. And the thing is, one thing about change is constant. Who are we? Flesh and blood, walking around, skeletons, flesh. Who are we to change the consistency of time? Who are we? One individual, one group. Who are we? So this rise, this thing that's going on with this white racialism, this thing that's going on with this white racialism that seems to be trying to creep up on us, we got to do something about it. And the thing is, I think we will do something about it. I think that despite the efforts of those who try to make it difficult for humanity to exist, I think that despite their efforts, there are good men on this earth. All men are not bad. There are good women on this earth. All women are not bad. There are many people on this earth who believe in God. There are many people on this earth who pray to the living God. So all these things that's trying to creep up, that's trying to make this world so difficult, all we have to do is remember there's one God and He loves all of us. And we should try to love each other. This is Musa Matt Beecham Jr. signing out.